Alright, so going into this fight happened, I was in a Typhoon in Torinos that I bought in Jita after the last time I got potted back to Curse from Pure Blind, which is a great experience. I highly recommend it. But I bought a Typhoon because I wanted to buy a Typhoon and fly a Typhoon, so I flew it to Torinos. And for anybody who doesn't know, Torinos connects to EC-P8R, which is an entry system into Pure Blind, and it's pretty much always camped by people who are not too great at PvP but still like PvP. So there's usually about 20 of them, maybe 5 on the gate at any one time, and 15 somewhere else in local, docked up, ratting, whatever. So it's usually not a good idea to go through solo in a battleship. So I went the long way around through Saarinen to 93 PI, and on my way back I got into O-N, which is always camped because it's a pipeline system, so there's some jerk in here who's this guy that I kill that is always in sub cloaky ship trying to make believe he's awesome, trying to camp this gate. So I'm a little worried because of how many people are actually in EC-P8R, and it's like 2 jumps from here, and the fact that the deimos that I'm fighting isn't the only ship in this system. He's got a friend in a Kane who was nearby, and there's a Cloaky Tengu and a Dramiel, and as tanky as my Typhoon is, I'm not entirely sure that I can take him in time to not get overtaken by the blob in EC- if they yell in an intel channel for it. But anyhow, let's roll the bones and see what happens. I was warping around in system and asking my corp for help, and finally I decided I'd had enough and decided, you know what, I'm just going to warp to this gate and kill this deimos, and hopefully I can get a fight going. But let's find out what happens. So I'm warping to the gate, and I land on the gate, and there's a deimos, and next to the deimos is a Dramiel off gate. So I lock up the deimos because I really just don't like him, and I start orbiting him, and I get ready to tackle him. I got my fingers set on F1 to F4, and I pretty much light him up as soon as I land. I'm trying to orbit him because deimoses, in my experience, tend to fit some pretty decent DPS, but as I'm seeing here, he's got electron blasters fitted instead of neutrons, so he's not actually doing a whole lot of damage to me. But I'm still cognizant of the fact that I'm not alone in local with this guy, and here I'm cycling my nuke, trying to work some cap warfare into here, but I'm really still concerned that there is or are other people in this neighborhood trying to come and fight me. But the deimos is going down pretty nicely, and he's not got any backup showing up, so he in a second here he decides he wants to try and de-aggro against me, but that doesn't work because he leaves his drones on me. I realize I'm a little farther from this gate than I want to be, so I hit approach, but that's about the same time he switches from red box to yellow box, and so I hit my micro warp and go back at him and try and bump him off the gate. It's when I zoom in and realize that he's still got his drones on me, so he's still going to have aggression. And here I am, pointing out what he's doing in local. And then a little bit of smack talk. And the Tengu, you can see at 70 kilometers, uncloaked just in time to see his friend die. And I have no idea what this guy was doing. He had Dreadgarista's uranium ammo and a cloak on his deimos. He was obviously not ready for a real fight. So kudos to him for camping a gate all day, but that's not exactly what I call PvP. And I guess this really isn't either, but it's just an example of a time where I was kind of hanging out in a system and afraid of being camped, and just decided I'd rather die than have to log off its space. So my advice, I guess the moral of the story is put up or shut up. The worst thing that can happen is you lose your ship and your pod, and you get podded to the other side of the universe, and then you buy a Typhoon on your way back through Jeddah, and have an interesting fight like this, which ends up with a cargo hold full of T2 loot. So, there you have it. Hopefully I'll get a new video up sometime soon.